It's week 44 of a year of wisdom. Let's get to reading. Day 302 and 303. Job 39 and 40. Do you know when the mountain goats give birth? Have you seen the deer in labor? Can you tell me how many months they carry their young? Do you know when they'll give birth? When they crouch down and bring forth their young, when they deliver their fawns? Their young become strong, growing up in the open, they leave and never return. Who lets the wild donkey roam free? Who sets the wild donkey loose from its shackles? I made the Arava its home, the salty desert its place to live. It scorns the noise of the city and hears no driver's shouts. It ranges over the hills for its pasture, searching for anything green. Would a wild ox be willing to serve you? Would it stay by your stall? Not even a ferret would. Could you tie a rope around its neck and make it plow furrows for you? Would you trust its great strength enough to let it do your heavy work? Or rely on it to bring home your seed? Or gather the grain from your threshing floor? An ostrich's wings beat wildly, although its pinions lack plumage. It leaves its eggs on the ground and lets them be warmed by the sand, forgetting that a foot may crush them or a wild animal trample on them. It treats its chicks heartlessly, as if they were not its own. Even if her labor is in vain, it really doesn't care, because God has deprived it of wisdom and given it no share in understanding. When the time comes, it flaps its wings, scorning both horse and rider. Did you give the horse its strength? Did you clothe its neck with a mane? Did you make him able to leap like a locust? Its majestic snorting is frightening. It paws with force and exults with vigor, then charges into the battle, mocking at fear, unafraid. It does not shy away from the sword. The rider's quiver rattles over it, his gleaming spear and javelin. Frenzied and eager, it devours the ground, scarcely believing the shofar has sounded. At the sound of the shofar, it whinnies, as from afar it scents the battle, the roar of the chiefs and the shouting. Is it your wisdom that sets the hawk soaring, spreading its wings toward the south? Does the eagle fly up when you say so, to build its nests in the heights? It lives and spends its nights on the cliffs. A rocky crag is its fortress. From there it spots its prey. Its eyes see it far off. Its young ones suck up blood wherever the slain are. There it is. Continuing to address Eov, Adonai said, Does the critic still want to dispute Shaddai? Let him who wants to correct God give an answer. Then Eov replied to Adonai, I am too ashamed. I have nothing to say. I lay my hand over my mouth. Yes, once I spoke, but I won't answer more. All right, twice, but I won't go on. Adonai answered Eov out of the storm. Stand up like a man and brace yourself. I will ask questions and you give the answers. Are you impugning my justice? Putting me in the wrong to prove yourself right? Do you have an arm like God's? Can you thunder with a voice like his? Come on, deck yourself with majesty and dignity. Robe yourself in glory and splendor. Let loose your furious anger. Look at all who are proud and humble them. Look at all who are proud and bring them down. Tread down the wicked where they stand. Bury them in the ground together. Bind their faces in the hidden world. If you do this, then I will confess to you that your own power can save you. Now consider Behemoth, whom I made along with you. He eats grass like an ox. What strength he has in his loins, what power in his stomach muscles. He can make his tail as stiff as a cedar. The muscles in his thighs are like cables. His bones are like bronze pipes, his limbs like iron bars. He ranks first among God's works. Only his maker can approach him with his sword. The mountains produce food for him there, where all the animals play. He lies down under the thorny lotus bushes and is hidden by the reeds in the swamp. The lotus bushes cover him with their shade, and the willows by the stream surround him. If the river overflows, it doesn't worry him. He's confident, even if the Yarden rushes by his mouth. Can anyone catch him by his eyes, or pierce his nose with a hook? And Leviathan, can you catch him with a fishhook, or hold his tongue down with a rope? Can you put a ring in his nose, or pierce his jaw with a barb? Will he entreat you at length? Will he speak with you softly? Will he agree with you to be your slave forever? Will you play with him as you would with a bird, or keep him on a string to amuse your little girls? Will a group of fishermen turn him into a banquet? Will they divide him among the merchants? Can you fill his skin with darts, or his head with fish spears? If you lay your hand on him, you won't forget the fight, and you'll never do it again. Proverbs or Mishlei 29 and 30. He who remains stiff-necked after much rebuke will be suddenly and incurably broken. When the righteous flourish, the people rejoice, but when the wicked are in power, the people groan. Whoever loves wisdom brings joy to his father, but a patron of prostitutes wastes his wealth. A king gives stability to a country by justice, but one who overtaxes it brings it to ruin. A person who flatters his neighbor spreads a net for his own steps. In an evil person's crime is a trap, but the righteous sing and rejoice. The righteous understands the cause of the poor, but the wicked is unconcerned. Scoffers can inflame a city, but the wise can calm the fury. When a wise man argues with a foolish one, he meets anger and ridicule without relief. Men of blood hate those who are pure and seek the life of the upright. A fool gives vent to all his feelings, but the wise, thinking of afterwards, stills them. If a ruler listens to lies, all his officials will be wicked. The poor and the oppressor have this in common: Adonai gives light to the eyes of both. If a king steadfastly gives justice to the poor, his throne will be secure forever. The rod and rebuke give wisdom, but a child left to himself brings shame on his mother. When the wicked flourish, wrongdoing flourishes, but the righteous will witness their downfall. Discipline your son, and he will give you rest. Yes, he will be your delight. Without a prophetic vision, the people throw off all restraint, but he who keeps Torah is happy. A slave can't be disciplined with words. He may understand, but he won't respond. Do you see someone too anxious to speak? There's more hope for a fool than for him. A slave who is pampered from youth will in the end be ungrateful. Angry people stir up strife. Hot-tempered people commit many crimes. The proud will be humbled, but the humble will be honored. The accomplice of a thief hates himself. He hears himself put under oath, but discloses nothing. Fearing human beings is a snare, but he who trusts in Adonai will be raised high above danger. Many seek the ruler's favor, but it is from Adonai that each gets justice. An unjust person is an abomination to the righteous, but he who lives uprightly is an abomination to the wicked. The words of Agur, the son of Yakeh. The prophecy. The man says to Itael and Ukal, I am more boorish than anyone. I lack human discernment. I've not learned enough wisdom to know the Holy One, who has gone up to heaven and come down. Who's kept the wind in the palms of his hands? Who's wrapped up the waters in his cloak? Who established all the ends of the earth? What is his name, and what is his son's name? Surely you know. Every word of God is pure. He shields those taking refuge in him. Don't add anything to his words, or he will rebuke you, and you will be found a liar. God, I have asked two things of you. Don't deny them to me as long as I live. Keep falsehood and futility far from me, and give me neither poverty nor wealth. Yes, provide just the food I need today. For if I have too much, I might deny you and say, Who's Adonai? And if I'm poor, I might steal and thus profane the name of my God. Never disparage a slave to his master, or he will curse you, and you will deserve it. There's a type of people who curse their fathers and don't bless their mothers. There's a type of people clean in their own view, but not cleansed from their filth. There's a type of people, how haughty they look, utterly supercilious. There's a type of people whose teeth are like swords. Yes, their fangs are knives. They devour the poor from the earth, the needy from humankind. The leech has 2 daughters. They cry, "Give, give." 3 things are never satisfied. 4 never say, "Enough." Sheol and a barren womb. The earth never satisfied with water, and fire, which never says, "Enough." The eye that mocks his father and scorns obeying his mother will be pecked out by the ravens in the valley, and the vultures will eat it. 3 things are too wonderful for me, 4 beyond my knowledge: the way of an eagle in the sky, the way of a snake on a rock, the way of a ship on the open sea, and the way of a man with a girl. This is how an unfaithful wife behaves. She eats, wipes her mouth, and says, "I did nothing wrong." 3 things make the earth quake. 4 things it can't bear: a slave who becomes king, a boor gorged with food, a hated wife when her husband takes her back, and a slave girl who inherits from her mistress. 4 things on the earth are small, nevertheless they are very wise. The ants, a species not strong, yet they store up their food in the summer. The conies, a species with little power, yet they make their home in the rocks. The locusts, who have no king, yet they all march out in ranks. And the spiders, which you can catch in your hand, yet they're in the king's palace. 3 things are stately in their stride, 4 of stately gait: the lion, mightiest of beasts, which turns aside for none; the greyhound, the billy goat, and the king when his army is with him. If you have been boorish, exalting yourself, or if you've been scheming, lay your hand on your mouth. For as pressing milk produces butter, and pressing the nose produces blood, so pressing out anger produces strife. And as always, thank you so much for being here today. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button right there and click the bell if you want notifications, and make sure to hit that like button for me as well. And I will see you tomorrow.
You'll carry me out of the storm. I'm standing at the crossroads. I'm lost without a clue. I need a big pink neon sign to show me what to do. I thank you, Lord. It glorifies you when you're the only answer. I praise you, Lord, for holding what's too much for me. And I'm amazed by you, Lord, because nothing's too big and nothing's too small to lay at your feet.